surface, you can see that effect in about 4 weeks plus.
Several years ago, I was suffering very badly from eczema on my hands and my feet. In fact, I remember it being so bad on my hands, the skin was just so raw and broken that I couldn't do any. I remember not being able to do up the buttons on my coat, for example, and I had to wear cotton gloves on my sort of around the house when it was at its worst, and nothing was working. I was slapping on steroid creams, and even they weren't doing anything. I just was at my wit's end.
And when William was born, William had terrible skin, and we referred to a specialist because they didn't know what was wrong with him, and kept me in hospital for a couple of days. It was scarlet red, and he had sort of pimples on his cheeks, and his eyes were closed. You know, his face was so swollen he didn't open his eyes for 2 days. It was awful. And he was not just on his face, but all over. He had sort of a rash, little spots, and he was very distressed by it all. You know, and every time I fed him and held him, it made it worse. It made it more red, and it was awful.
I've had psoriasis since I was about 15, which is about 11 years, off and on. Sometimes worse than others. Mostly on my knees and elbows was the main place until that flared up on my hands and my arms. I just couldn't do nothing, really. I mean, silly things like pick up a cup, make a cup of tea, anything like that. I just couldn't use my fingers, didn't have a lot of grip in my hands, and just looked really horrible. I didn't go out at all, because people looked at me as if I had some disease or something, you know.
I thought, how odd, I'm drinking something for my skin, but hey, I don't care, I'm desperate, I'm willing to try anything, any light at the end of the tunnel.
But I felt down, very isolated, and generally just fed up. I mean, you know, you couldn't do much at home, didn't obviously go to work.
Probably after a few weeks, maybe about a month, I realised that something was happening. The itching was getting less, my skin was starting to heal, and I realised something was happening because of this drink. And also, I should add that he asked me to try the propolis cream as well, as that I could slap as much of that on as I wanted, no side effects, no worries. So I did use the two in combination, and after a good couple of months, my skin had started to heal, and I was, for the first time, for maybe 10, 12 years, I felt hopeful that I could do something about this horrible condition.
Aloe vera drink, which was one in the morning and one at night. There's a little cup, I don't know how much is in them, is it 25ml, I think, in the morning and night, and to put on the propolis cream as and when needed, when it itched or when it was cracked and sore, so I could put it on nearly all day if I wanted to.
And I just thought, let me get home, put the propolis on it, because I know what to put on it. And I did, and you know, within 3 days, when I was supposed to go back and see the specialist, I cancelled the appointment.
First saw an improvement, I would say, about 3 weeks after starting the treatment. It was, the swelling had gone down in my fingers. The skin was still dry and cracked, but it wasn't as sore, and was generally more pliable. I could bend my fingers, they wasn't so stiff and rigid. And it did, you know, just start to disappear in places.
I looked down and my hands were unrecognisable, almost. And I think, how can people imagine that no, she doesn't really suffer from eczema, you know, you can't see it, but they are like new hands.
My hands, as you can see, are completely healed, obviously a bit scarred. Obviously can bend them, move them, do what I want, back to normal, really. I've had no reoccurrence of anywhere where it's come up. So I'm pleased. At the end of the day, it's a lot better than what the doctors could do for me at the end of the day.
This is just an introduction to some of our exceptional products. To learn more, book a place on the next product training near to you. Then, to get further in-depth understanding of what these unique products can do for you and your customers, reserve a place on the specialist training given by each of the advisory board members at Longbridge Manor. Ask the person who introduced you to FLP, and they'll tell you how to book so you can take full advantage of all Forever Living products have to offer.
I can go out now, do what I want. I don't feel so, I don't know if ashamed is the right word, but I don't feel so that people are looking at me for that reason. Obviously people look at you anyway, but not because I've got something wrong with me, you know. So I feel sort of free, I suppose.
I feel fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, that has changed my life.
Enjoy using FLP's remarkable natural products and begin to feel your health, energy and well-being improving every day. Let nature's gifts from the beehive and the aloe vera plant, brought to you in their purest form by Forever Living products, put back all that modern life takes out, helping your body help itself to optimum nutrition. Don't just feel good, feel great with Forever Living products.